Hello, and welcome to Jarviskjir, Rock of the North, home of technical issues and D&D, which I guess is most D&D shows, but at least we're not usually late. Oh wait, we're a little late today, but this happens. Last week, my internet went down in spectacular fashion. It didn't go back up until we managed to get on the website for my provider. It's only one issue. You need the internet to go to the website. So I don't really know who designed that system. But internet went down into spectacular fashion last time. I'm not really gonna worry about kind of sorting out the little tiny bit we did. We did like 45 minutes of show. We're just gonna do a big recap this time and get right into it. You have headed as a party to the location of your quest, the Fey Forge of Fafamel. After traveling there through the elven forests around Aradia, you decided to not investigate why thorny briar creatures are attacking people. Just move on. That's not a problem. Not a problem at all. You did put a troll out of its misery, at least, after being infested by these briars. You got to the Fey Forge, you showed your invitation, and entered. The Fey Forge being this elven fortress surrounded by walls, almost looking like a grand chapel organ. It's how it's kind of designed, with the smokestacks and things, all made of this very autumnal ochre color. The Masquerade Ball is in full effect. You all got dressed up and started heading out inside. Beforehand, there's a courtyard outside the forge where Peep and Snow decided to get stoned on some really good, potentially magical weed. So right now, Peep and Snow are stoned. Snow is apparently so stoned that he's not even here. But that was definitely something that happened. We did actually have the point when you weren't here, Zach, when I was going, oh, I wonder if Vincent would... No, Vincent spent, like, downtime doing heroin with elves. Vincent would absolutely get high.
With the high elves.
You know what? I hadn't thought about that.
And the High Vincents.
Yeah. You then head inside where the Masquerade Ball is happening. It's just sort of starting. It's not quite late evening. There are a lot of folk in a lot of outfits and disguises. But there's something a little, weird and intense. There's a really strong mixed smell of all these very intense flowers. They're up around pillars in the atrium and around the forge buildings and all that sort of stuff. In archways over doors. It's a lot, and it clashes, and it doesn't really make sense. It's the same with the food. Well, there is food, although not actually all that much, it clashes. Same with the drinks. They're very strong, but they don't really mix well together. Not really that you should really mix any drinks once you're like past 20, where you can kind of get away with it. It's all a little clashing, and that goes for a lot of the people's outfits as well. It is a Masquerade Ball, everyone's wearing masks. Most people you see are elves, but there are noticeably, there are some gnomes, there are elves from different parts of the land, you can tell from the bit of skin they're showing, but there's a lot of people who are completely covered. The guards are completely covered in plate mail, basically, plate or scale mail, with barely anything visible. There are tiny little servants that look like feathered goblins, kind of, wearing masks that completely hide their face. There are dryads, giant people made of bark and wood, basically walking trees, that are just talking to people. And amongst the elves, there's, increasingly more strange things that you see, like maybe around that person's elvish ears that poke out from their mask is some frills, almost like an insect plumage or something like that, or petals. Or you swear, if it might be built into someone's mask, that you see someone with antennae. It's a little weird. There's a weird vibe, and it's genuinely pretty calm at the moment. There's just a lot of polite conversations happening, Snow attempted to liven up the party. While dressed as the famous ogre character Shrunk, he took a giant keg of mead and poured it over himself and tried to offer it to people, and no one was having it. No one was amused at all, and that ended up getting Sabriel in trouble. With a lady who seemed to be in charge here. Someone who seemed to basically own the place. They are a wood elven woman who's barely wearing a mask. Who is noticeable for having these big prosthetic legs that are almost very similar to the dryads. They're these twisting, combined bark and vines that give her a very springy movement. And she basically, she and Sabria had a short conversation that was basically, oh, you're here for business? Sure, don't cause any trouble now. We do that later. Keep your pet on a leash. You know, that sort of thing. A little bitchy, we can all say. And that's pretty much what we start off today with the ball in full swing. Basically, there's music, there's people. At this point, the crowd of people that were laughing at Snow has mostly dispersed. Though it's definitely one of those things where you guys as a group are definitely now known about. You're all in the atrium of the forge, very similar to like a dwarven forge, but with elven designs, where it's this big open-aired chamber with these walkways and galleys that go up where different parts of the forging process work, and all the people have personal workstations. But open to access if you wanted to are actually areas that go into the walls or into offices and things. The doorways flanked with flowers and plant life. There are a couple of people having conversations more quiet around that area, where right now there is more, it's starting to go from quiet conversations to more drinking, more, a little bit of dancing, perhaps. You know, that kind of thing.
Well, Vincent probably falling out of a coat closet somewhere with a bunch of just smoke coming out after him.
Yes!
Yeah, I'll be right back. Hold on. I gotta go even this out. And he's gonna stumble up to the bar and I'll take two.
There's one of the little, the bar was unmanned, but one of the little, again, they kind of look like kobolds and goblins, but their faces are hidden by masks that have, each one has a different dice symbol on it, so like a 6 or a 5 or whatever. And it rushes over, pulls itself up, and goes, "To what?"
Surprise me. Also, is there any like cheese or crackers or I don't know, chips or something? I'm a little hungry.
Most gracious apologies. We have snackadoos, but the main meal seems to not be available at the moment. The hunters never managed to get the game of choice, so we do not have a large meal for you available.
No, snackadoo sound excellent. Let me get some of them. What is that? That sounds wonderful.
There will be little pudgy beetles served on a small, slightly cheesy cracker. There is a little toothpick with an olive that goes through both.
Vincent will like just grab a whole handful of them and just start pulling off one by one.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all don't play around with this smoke thing. Whew. Whew. I can't quite tell. Are you a? Never mind. We're not supposed to know. Let's keep the mystery alive. Let's just do that. Let's go for it.
It nods understandingly and will kind of get off the stool as it's being summoned somewhere else, and will between people's legs and things off to other parts of the atrium, probably bouncing past Peep, who is probably still just staring at things. Red eyes just visible through the mask.
Vince is gonna walk up with 2 glasses in one hand and a handful of toothpick speared beetles and just kind of like hold out the hand of the beetles to Pete. You could use a few of these too.
Thank you. Think you just take them in both hands. Probably just straight away. Didn't even remove the toothpicks.
I knew someone was gonna eat the toothpicks when I put toothpicks on it.
Yeah, Peep is definitely the kind who would, especially when they're like just stoned out of their mind.
Pete, hold this. He's gonna hand him one of the drinks.
Okay.
He's gonna chug the other one, set it down, and then pick up the second one and start sipping on that one.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're. Hold on. I think we're balanced out. Sorry.
That's a good idea. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do that too. Peep's gonna like stagger over, thinking. So like, you know when like your limbs are kind of, they feel like robotic when you're high, or it's just like if like you're walking normally, but in your head it feels like you're moving in stop motion.
You're in a big Pacific Rim mech.
Yeah, just walking along. Up at like onto the bar. There's probably, I'm guessing you'd like have like a scramble up onto the seat a little.
I mean, there are some things clearly intended for gnomish guests, but you're shorter than them, you know? You're almost like half the height of a gnome. So, yeah, there would be access available, but it would be a little scuffed.
Yeah, I'll roll with that. Thinking, wait for one of the dice people to turn up. Just like, can I get a drink or something? Just anything.
Yeah, they'll get you. They'll get like a bowl of wine. When they hand it to you, there is a pixie just reclining in it, like one would recline in like a hot tub. And then they're like, maybe not that one, and we'll go and get a different one to give to you that doesn't have anyone sitting in it currently.
Does that normally happen?
Today, yes. I have no knowledge of any events before yesterday.
Were you born yesterday?
Yes. Define born.
I don't know. You just started existing?
Mm-hmm.
I guess, I don't know. Takes a drink. I mean, I'm only like nearly 6, so I don't know.
6 days? Wow, you're so old.
6 years.
Define years.
Lots and lots and lots and lots of days.
Whoa. All I know is that the lady of the fort asked her lady, and her lady just kind of poofed us into existence. If we do good, we get to keep living. If not, we're worm food.
Oh.
Speaking
Wait,
of, would you like a worm? Bring over a bowl of what look like living gummy worms. Yeah.
Vince is just looking at the food in his hand and back up. No.
Meanwhile, Cyberl is just like, yes, not gonna question any of it because Faye.
Sabriel's approximate knowledge of all things, very useful. How does Adelhard see all this? Adelhard, the most lawful, sensible person. 2 of your compatriots are just glazed out of their minds.
He is ever so slightly put off by this very strange party. I don't imagine him being used to parties with that much fun in it.
Yeah. A party from your homeland is basically a business event.
Yes, it's people sitting around talking about something, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. I think it would be clear that he feels a little out of place, even with the mask and all that on.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Sabriel really doesn't want to be there.
Well, you guys should loosen up.
Sabriel,
No.
have you tried the bug things? They're pretty tasty.
He just looks up, looks at the bug things, thinks about it for a moment,
They're pretty good.
decides to fuck with Vincent. Vincent, did you are entirely human, correct?
Last time I checked.
Last time I read a book about humans consuming food from the Fae, it said something about the humans.
What did it say?
I don't know if I should tell you.
Well, you can't start a story like that and then not tell me. Hold on. I know just a thing. It'll loosen your lips. 1 second. And I'm gonna run back over to the bar. I need one more of these.
Yeah. You'll get like handed one by what seemingly a tiefling woman with purple skin. She doesn't even really look at you. She's just like,
Thank you.
Cup.
And I run back over. Here, this'll help.
What is it? What is Sabriel been
it's
doing?
honestly probably like a spiced wine. Like, it's not that weird.
Okay. I'll take it, sip at it quietly for a moment, swirl it like your stereotypical supervillain, and then what last I read was that if humans consume fairy food, they get stuck in the fairy world forever and have to dance. He sips his wine and just walks away.
Am I in the fairy world now? Peep! Are we in the fairy world right now?
I don't know what's going on. Do we?
Sabriel said if I eat these, I'm gonna end up in the fairy world forever, and I'm gonna be dancing. Am I dancing?
No, but wait, I ate those too. Does it count for kobolds?
Sabriel, does it count for kobolds?
How far away can I get? How far away
You
can I
could give
get
me a
before he
stealth
turns
roll.
around?
You tried this last time and you weren't very good at it, but this is where I would have loved like Stars Right Number, where it does the like charisma stealth, where it's like, oh, I just want to disappear in a crowd, baby. I love that.
Hold on, my sheet's working out. You said stealth?
Mm-hmm.
Let me make sure it doesn't give me my disadvantage from
That's
it.
right.
Oh, wait,
yeah,
you
you're not
took my
wearing
armor off.
your armor and clothes right now. Sabriel is like over there. Sabriel's wearing a giant gold outfit, the big sun mask. Yet again, Sabriel has tried to disappear in the crowd and is found because he's wearing all gold.
Balor's boyfriend does it all the time. How can I not do this?
I found him. Come here, let's go ask. I'm gonna scoop Peep up and run across the room with him. Sabriel, does it affect kobolds too? Cause Peep ate some too.
The bugs.
Also,
Peep's a
I
dragon
can't tell.
now.
Am I dancing right now? Am I in the Fey world right now?
Yes.
Is Peep
Deadpan
dancing?
expression. He's got the mask on, so they can't.
Yeah.
Is Peep dancing?
Is Peep doing what?
I'm
Am I
holding
dancing?
Peep.
Am I dancing? I can't tell if I'm dancing.
Sabriel says we're gonna dance forever in the Fey world if we eat those beetle things. Is it going? What about Peep?
Peep's
I don't
not a
wanna-
human.
Oh,
It'll
so
be
it's only
worse for
humans.
Peep. He's turning into a Not a human.
Oh, thank God.
I really want to be mean and be like, Peep has like 5 minutes to live, but I don't.
Is it just expected for me to dance because I'm in the Fey world, or is it something that like I should feel like I don't know.
It's a compulsion. Do you know how vampires operate?
What's that?
You can do things. You do things because you are compelled to do so.
I don't feel compelled to dance. Wait, is the music good? Is there music?
There is music. There are like 4 different bands of bards playing different songs, and there's nowhere where only one song can be heard at a time.
It just sounds like a lot of noise. I can't dance to just noise. Maybe we could get all 4 bands to play the same song at the same time, and then we can really dance. Hold on, I'll be right back. Vincent is going to approach each of the bands and try to get them to play the same song.
Are you still carrying Pete?
No, that was because
I have not put Pete down. He is just in my arm the whole time.
Cyber was just standing there, like, sipping his wine.
that tiefling that Vincent talked to will come over. Purple skin, tall horns. Again, there's a mask. She's not really trying to. She can't hide it, you know. But no tail or demon feet or anything like that. And she will just kind of say, "It's not nice to be so mean to them."
Is it being mean, though?
It's amusing. I think they'd be even more bewitched if they were really in the Fey world.
Oh, I know.
And she'll just sip and watch.
He's like, I know, I've dealt with the Fae before, I know.
On the way over, Vincent is going to cast Enhanced Ability on himself and give himself an advantage on Charisma checks so he can more aptly persuade these bands.
Give me a persuasion check.
Alright, so it's just a real low bass note, just boom, 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 boom. Okay, and then you, and then over here, I just need like real, just rhythmic loop playing. Okay, all right, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. All right.
I'm so. It's not playing. Even, you know, here's a song. Do you know this? You're telling them the specific like way to play, and of course they listen. This is way too interesting to not do. And you can convince all 4 bands to play the same song at the same time, which sends bumping bass through the fortress in a very satisfying way.
Okay, all right, peeps. So here's what we got to do. All right.
Okay.
We got the bands playing the same song. I gotta dance this thing out of me. So dance battle. Me and you on the dance floor right now. And we're just gonna let them all have it.
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
All right. And he's gonna run out into the center of the dance floor and just like pull Pete back and just like bowl him out into like a break dance move into the center of the floor. Go, Pete, go!
Okay, as that roll's happening, Pete's gonna just like spin on their back, and I want to let loose like a little jet of flame up in the air as I'm spinning round and round.
You know you have to give me a performance check for that.
Yes, I do.
You don't have advantage.
Ah, but let's try it. Performance, come on, baby. I saw the 18.
You
just
you don't
rolled
throw up,
right into the stage.
but you do spin and skid like a cat on a laminated floor. And the people who are kind of like getting interested in the dancing are just like, oh! And it's the exact same reaction as like when Snow was acting a fool. It's just people being like, whoa, what's happening? Oh dear, oh no, oh, what? It's but now you need to give me a charisma saving throw. You have advantage because you're stoned.
Oh. Charisma save. What?
You luckily do realize that this is unamused to people. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm in the middle. Oh, it's time to keep dancing. It's like, oh, you've realized that you've kind of got in the way of everyone, and also you realize you're staring right up a woman's skirt. All these things where you're like, oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Reel it back in. My turn.
Pass it off.
Yeah. Yeah. How does Vincent dance? What type of dancer is Vincent?
He's definitely doing like every generic like the shopping cart. Like he's pulling every single like barnyard dance move he's got.
Yeah.
And he is just letting these people have it. I mean, just with all of his heart and soul, like he is trying to dance these beetles out of his body at this point because he thinks it's the only way to get rid of them.
Sabriel shouldn't be allowed to make jokes.
Well, he does it so rarely that people don't know their jokes. Yeah, I mean, you dance well and it gets the crowd going, especially now all the bards are playing the same song. There are other people who kind of get into it as well. People of all shapes and sizes that have found this little place that are here right now, and there really does appear to be a little magic in the air, which maybe Vincent thinks is the Beatles coming out, because there is kind of almost like a static in the air of magic, like a haziness, like an aurora forming that's kind of pinks and purples and greens and things like that around dancers particularly. Yeah, you dance well and the people...
Vincent just stops mid shopping cart and just starts staring into the mist. Wow. Sabriel! It worked! I danced the Beatles out of my body. I'm no longer compelled.
That's nice.
But that closet's calling my name. I'll be right back.
So, I have something I wanted to do.
Yeah, you could do it while Vincent goes back to the closet.
Yeah, so while the silliness is going on, Alahad, he's just kind of standing off to the side, not really knowing what to do. But he is going to cast Detect Magic, see if anything strange.
Yeah,
is
you're
in
gonna
the
do
air.
it as a... Yeah, okay, go ahead and click it. So it pops up in chat. I'm gonna have to... This is a... DM has to read the spell situation.
Yes.
Okay. To your eyes, perception changes quite dramatically. Of course you can see magic in the air. There is magic permeating the entire place right now. Detect magic and spells like it work a little different in Jarviskjir. Less the school of magic, more the type of magic, and Fey magic from the Fey realm is pretty much pouring into the air from the excitement and the giddiness. It's almost like you're seeing the room in Thermal, where it's like people who are dancing and really enjoying themselves, they're letting off this magic. On top of that, there is considerable arcane and fey magic built into the forges that your analytic mind can sort of see, like inscribed into the runes and things. It kind of all lights up. You also see a hot, fiery magic that is not fey in nature coming from one of the office directions.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. You could just sort of see the, like, haze of something magical, like, basically magical radiation coming from the north side offices. You can see it through the archway, where there's not really anyone hanging out that way.
Is that open now?
There are... Well, basically every door is open. If there were actual doors, they have been taken off the hinges and put somewhere. There's just archways.
No, I think he's going to walk the direction. If anyone stops him, he just says he got lost.
No one stops him. Are you good? But you're not really going to do it stealthily. You're just walking.
Yeah, he's just walking off.
Miss Arrow follow him.
Sure. Yeah. you two can go down this office way and follow the haze that you see, because it's casting time 10 minutes. Probably spend a couple of minutes looking at all the fey fuckery happening in the air.
Yeah. Studying it for a bit, trying to understand it.
Yeah. But then you can follow this haze, and it leads to one particular office where you see a pair of creatures. They are small, smaller than gnomes, bigger than Pete. Very useful way to think about it. They look like lizards, but they kind of have like a jelly-like skin almost, where just heat permeates through, and that's one of those things. It's even through like your detect magic. Maybe because you're a naval person, like detect magic's only in one of your eyes, and you could do like the eye patch thing. I don't know, but you could see that they do just have like a glow of heat about them, and they're setting up what looks like an urn. And the urn, while it looks like just iron to the naked eye, to your detect magic, it is radiating with a very peculiarly formed kind of magic, which I'm going to need an Arcana check to decipher.
Okay, I can do that.
Are these salamanders? Or like, are they the ones that like the ones we saw before?
18.
The salamander-y.
But they're not the same as the ones that we found in that place.
No, these guys have they have a more humanoid body plan, but they are similar. They are similar. They could be like they could have like a common ancestor or something. There's undead magic going in that urn, but it's almost filtered through pyromancy. A very elemental pyromancy with what seems to be almost inscribed into the urn in runes that are recognizably giant in nature. The way these two lizards are setting this up, being someone from Valheim, you could put it together. They're essentially setting it up like a, not quite a bomb, but they're setting it up like they're planting a bomb, right? The way they're kind of like twisting the things around and planting it down and checking what's going on.
He's going to speak up. What are you doing?
They are just gonna stare, go wide-mouthed, and ready their weapons. And as they do, they're gonna drop the urn, because of course they do. And when it kind of clatters on the ground, there is a wraithful shriek that emanates from it that's not, incredibly loud over the sound of the music. And seeping from the urn all at once is an almost banshee-like figure, but just emblazoned in heat. The actual body of the creature is fire and heat. Peep and Vincent are otherwise occupied right now. Adelhard and Sabriel are at the door of this scene. And let me set this up. Okay, when you guys are ready, give me a initiative roll. I need to get ready though. I don't know where my monster manual is. There it is. I have a shelf here that you'd think would make things easier, but the floor technique worked a lot better. Worked a lot better back when I had everything on the floor. I knew where things stood. It was the floor, and all was equal.
Should we all roll just in case?
Yes, actually, what I'll do is I'll put you two on the map, but essentially off the map, where you'll have so you can roll initiative so you can kind of see if you can work out what's going on. So I'll put you like down in like the corners so you can actually I'll put you like over this way.
Wouldn't it be really messed up if there was like a fight going on and we were just too busy being like drunk and high to know what was happening?
Don't you do a Marvel movie joke on me.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like check this closet is just, man. These fuckers know how to party.
The lizard's gonna run up close. Has a kind of probably iron short sword. It's all one piece of metal. And you think they might go up and strike. They get up close and they spit at you. Can you give me a dexterity saving throw, Adelhard?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, they're little fire Dilophosaurus.
Yeah! I'd say that.
Okay, now I need one as a pet. I love that idea too.
Right?
Oh shit, I dropped the dice!
Excuse me while I write that as an idea. In
you do
Fire Dilophosaurus.
kind of duck out of the way, move swiftly, but you're still going to take 5 fire damage from just a kind of wave of heat that permeates the air afterwards. Number one's going to...
Oh wait, did we have a long rest since the last combat or not? Okay.
Still the same night.
Well, Sabriel didn't get involved in that combat, so I've got all my shit.
Yeah. It's true. And then, Sabriel's turn next. You saw the one come up and spit at Adelhard, and then another one just kind of skidded around the room. They actually have pretty long legs, honestly. But they're kind of almost permanently doing the, like, Gecko running on water run. They look like they're more designed to swim. It's just all everywhere at once. Oh, shit. Okay.
He's gonna stab.
It doesn't kill it. Much to your displeasure, I'm sure. But you do strike it and just, like, blow... You probably blow one of its arms off, honestly. The arm that isn't wielding the blade. It kind of covers itself up and it just goes into, like, a fine, heated mist around you.
Oh, that's all that I'm gonna do.
Peep, can you give me a perception check?
Yes.
With disadvantage. You're high.
That is fair. Still pretty good though.
There's not any noticeable commotion yet. You don't notice that the disappearance of Sabriel and Adelhard being interesting.
I wonder if the smoke's from the pipe lead or if I'm really becoming a dragon with all this space stuff.
You're a dragon, buddy. I seen a dragon. I got a dragon skill. You're a dragon. I believe it. You should too.
Hell yeah.
Meanwhile, Adelhard, a tiny little lizard has spit at you.
Mm-hmm. I would like to cast Ray of Frost at it.
Yeah?
Wait, actually... Yes.
Yeah. You have range on it.
I would like to cast it at it.
That's a hit.
That's a hit. And
Yeah.
that's 10 cold damage.
You strike the thing with the... And I don't remember we discussed before. Is it like a beam or is it a continued hold Skyrim ice magic kind of...
It's a beam. It's just like instantaneous cast thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't last.
Yeah. You strike the thing with a precise beam of ice. as it's kind of getting ready to kind of retaliate. It doesn't seem as phased as losing an arm that you might expect, but then it's a lizard. You know, they do often regenerate limbs, but you just hit it with a cold. It has just enough time to kind of look at you, and then it just completely freezes up. The heat of its internal body temperature completely counteracts, making it's not frozen in ice, it's kind of frozen in itself, because it just cools so rapidly, almost to a like a mud, like a dry mud kind of texture, and it is completely inoperable.
Alright, that's it for my turn.
Okay. Then it's time for the ghost. The fiery ghost that has been unleashed from the urn is going to kind of, it's like almost pulling itself out because it was kind of released awkwardly. And you better believe it's gonna scream. Question is just kind of which way it's gonna scream. It'll make it easier on your checks if you notice the scream. That's an if.
That's a big if there, Chief. That's a Texas size 10-4.
It's gonna go over here. It's gonna scream. Can you two in combat give me Constitution saving throws? Oh, Sabriel, honey. The funny thing is, Adelhard, yeah, you save with a 13. It wasn't that hard. The scream is followed by a just intense pulsar of heat. It's what the sun looks like, and both of you know what the sun looks like because you're both nerds of one way or another. You know, this just palpable whoosh of heat unleashes out like a solar flare. Sabriel, you are going to take 11 fire damage from it, and then the ghost is going to kind of skedoodle kind of back into the room a little bit. It's kind of wispy and moving very, very swiftly. Vincent, can you give me a perception check with disadvantage?
Yes, I can.
Outside the closet, some people have noticed the scream, and some people are starting to kind of... Some people are like, oh, that's funny, someone's screaming back there. Some other people are like, maybe we should just move. Inside the closet, nothing is noticed.
But no, I know you're the only kobold I ever met, but you're my favorite one of all time. That's what I keep saying. That's what I tell everybody I meet.
I don't even know what to say. That's so sweet. Thank you. I mean, you're really great here. I mean, I've met lots of. I used to live in a town of humans. But you guys are all great. You're like my favorite.
I'm okay. But no, like, you're so much bigger than your little small size would allow. You're just rah with the giant sword. I love it. I can watch it all day.
Maybe
That's
we'll
my
get a
turn.
chance to do that tonight.
Around the corner, it's a shanking lizard. What's your AC right now, Sabriel?
There's 11.
It's gonna hit an 11. It's gonna deal 7 slashing damage. Then it's gonna strike again, and it's gonna hit. And then it's gonna deal 3. So that's 10 altogether.
I'm okay. I'm only at 19.
It's your turn next.
Okay, I'm done with this.
I love it when Sabriel hits
What?
fuck it levels.
Yeah, Sabriel hits fucking levels relatively quickly, let's be honest.
Yeah. The first minor inconvenience. And then everyone's messed up.
Oh
Oh no!
Yeah, you are parried by the lizard, and the shining tip of your sword goes into like a flower pot that dirt and plant matter everywhere. into a like cloud of detritus.
Like he hits the stone and the stone just.
Yeah. Exactly. It's very impressive, but it's still a miss. I almost want the lizard to laugh at you, but it does not. Peep, can you give me a perception check with disadvantage?
What disadvantage? Perception.
You guys are just having a really deep, heartfelt conversation in there.
Yeah.
Rest of the world doesn't matter when you're having a good time with your friends. Adelhard, there's been an explosion from Sabriel, there's a ghost, there's a lizard.
Move up here. Oh, hello. Hello, ghost.
Yeah, there's a ghost.
Yes, he's trying to go for the lizard. I'm going to attack with the rapier.
That's a hit.
Okay, and
Just
bonus
9.
action.
This is the way it doesn't say anything
attack
else.
with the crossbow.
Yes. Yeah. That is not a hit. It has a buckler on its arm. That actually, as it kind of moves into dodge, because it's like it's hit by the first strike, it kind of goes in multiple like kind of scales out, showing a little bit of technology, and it will deflect the bolt to go into the room somewhere. Next is the ghosty goo that you better believe is gonna do a spooky move. Adelhard, what's your AC right now?
50?
Yeah, it gets an 8. So the ghost is just like standing behind you menacingly. It's not really able to do anything right now. It's waiting for its moment, I'm sure. Vincent, can you give me a perception check with disadvantage? Oh, that was a 20.
Oh god.
In the vicinity of that roll. Yeah, you guys don't notice anything.
But you know what's really cool?
What?
Like, we like save the world,
Yeah.
and like only so many people know.
I know, it's like no one here is gonna know that we like stopped a bunch of elementals like breaking into the world, you know?
It's like the coolest secret ever.
I know.
That's my turn.
All right, the lizard's gonna move its attention to Adelhard. It's gonna hit you with 1 attack with its short sword. That's gonna be 4 slashing damage, and then after that, it actually doesn't make the second one. Just barely. It's like one of the ones that scratches the outfit but doesn't actually do any harm. It does fight relatively well, you know, and it's not even like fighting a goblin or something that uses its short size to like in its advantage, because it's kind of like the size of like a dwarf or something, you know, or whatever. It's not incredibly short, but it does know what it's doing. It's sparring and parrying and things like that. Sabriel.
I needed to unmute.
I was waiting for you to start saying something while muted. I wanted it.
I thought about it, and then I realized, wait a minute, I'm muted because he's whining about Minecraft.
As we all do.
I'm going to cast a bonus action spell, which is that.
Oh, right, this thing. What's it called? Spirit Shroud.
I'm gonna choose cold damage. And I'm gonna stab the lizard with my sword with a melee attack.
So it heals you, and then your next melee attack does more damage. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. You've not used it
Any
before.
attack you make deals 1d8 extra damage when you hit the creature. They can't regain hit points. I regain their hit points, I guess. If I'm reading that right.
When you cast it, you heal. Okay. Yeah, that's a hit. That is a hit. Roll your bonus damage as well.
I also get the 4 radiant.
And the 4 radiant. Okay.
7 cold damage.
Yeah. You.
No. Yeah, 7 cold damage.
So 7 damage plus the 4, so that's a lot of damage. So like one of those things you can just get another like sting, and the whole, most likely the radiant spirits that are just kind of emanating differently than usual can bring through and bring them more cold. And again, it's like the last one of these, because you don't even, it's not like it falls over dead, it just kind of cools down, so it doesn't even move anymore and like completely shuts down.
How long does that spell last? I'm done. I'm just gonna see how long that spell lasts.
Okay. Peep, can you give me a perception check with disadvantage?
On it. Let's go! No!
That's a 2 and a 1.
Oh.
As you're talking in the closet, there is just something large bumps the closet from outside, and it's gonna fall on its front. So the door is now on the floor. It goes.
That's not good.
Like just closions that just peek outside. And
You
take a look.
can't. You peep outside, you see floor. Closet, you in it. Closet, fall down. Door, face down. Floor.
Oh, right. Okay, right. So like the closet, like thing itself, has fallen forward.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Now I get you. I thought like the door had just like fallen off.
No. Door's
The
very
whole
much
closet-
still on, actually.
Okay, so the whole closet is fallen. So the
Yeah.
door is on the floor.
Yeah.
I guess. If I'm
You can open the closet and see floor. That would be pretty funny.
Okay. It's like,
It's like
what's
sticky
going-
party floor, because, you know, of course it is.
I guess. Oh, no, that doesn't work. Okay, I'll open the door, like, and then by like the top of it, see if I could like lift it up and like lift it back up, right?
You can give me an athletics check.
Come on.
I don't even know what happens to you at that point. But two ones in a
Way
row
too
does not
high.
bode well for your continued
We
survival.
might be stuck in here.
Vincent is just losing it while he watches Peep try to lift. He knocked the whole closet over.
Adelhard, it's your turn. The lizard is dead. The ghost is behind you.
Yes, can I move around this
Yeah.
ghost without
Yeah.
going out of combat?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm going to do that and one attack with the rapier.
That's a hit.
Okay. And bonus action attack with the hand crossbow. Might I add, his weapons perfectly fit the aesthetic of his clothes. I'm guessing that's a hit.
It's true. Yeah, that's a hit. Unfortunately, your weapons are not magical. When trying to do a deathly strike on a ethereal spirit, you do kind of hit, It's like hitting a cloud, and it does make the creature react, but it kind of phases and moves around it. You are harming it, it's just not terribly effective.
Okay.
The ghost is going to use the classic horrifying visage. Can you two give me wisdom saving throws?
Sabriel, please.
I want Sabria to be scared of a little spooky ghost.
You said wisdom save?
Mm-hmm. You're a cleric, you should be good at that. So you
Oh,
both
jinx
fail!
You jinxed me, that's not fair.
Jinxing people is half a DM's job. The ghost is gonna do this whole, you know, it kind of similar to the lizards, but without kind of an outer shell. It's just this ethereal heat being. It kind of melts down to bone and parts and shrieks and phases and melts at the walls, and all of that is going to leave both of you frightened. Vincent, you are in the closet with Peep. The closet is on the floor, knocked over.
Vincent is going to try to lift that up.
Yep, that's going to be an athletics check. Yeah, you just need to get in the right position and the thing back into position. That's when you are outside of the closet and you can see that there is clearly something going on. It's not like people have run all the way away, but it's like, first of all, there was like someone just kind of watching the closet, being like, "Oh, you weren't having, you weren't, oh, okay."
No.
You know, just like leave. But you kind of look around, you don't see Sabriel Adahard.
Stuff in the closet.
And you can see like a wave of spectral heat coming from the office, where people have kind of gradually moved away from that area, knowing that something's going on.
We should go see what that's about.
We should. Let's go.
Alright. You guys can start moving.
I'm gonna scoop Peep up and take off in that direction. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that on Peep's turn then. Alright.
Yep.
Oops, sorry.
Sabriel, choking in fear because ghost.
I can still attack while
You just have disadvantage, and you
go any closer.
You can't get any closer. Yeah, so if you have a ranged attack,
That's fine.
you can do it with
Oh, I do.
disadvantage.
Do I have to maintain I do. I can still cast another spell that doesn't require concentration, though. Boop. Oh wait, I meant to roll that at a
You
disadvantage.
gotta do disadvantage.
My bad. Boop.
You don't hit Adelhard. Just.
Sabriel, what is happening?
This office is gonna be a mess. You basically blow up that table, and all these things, papers go like with their ends frayed on fire and sending smoke everywhere. Peep, I've moved you all into a position where you're on the map. You are a bit away from where you kind of think Sabriel and Adelhard are, but feel free. Get going.
What the hell is that thing? Turn, like, look down the hall and see one of those, like, salamandery boys.
It's like waddling almost with its weapons out.
So I'm guessing my movement was used in that thingy.
No, it's your turn now.
Oh.
You can move.
Okay. Well, alright, looks like this is time for Peep the Dragon! And thingy, I'm gonna, like, hop out of Vincent's grasp and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then... Oh, this is probably not gonna do anything. I'm gonna Eldritch Blast it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for me, is fire damage.
You just gotta hit.
Yeah. So. Pew.
First one does hit, but it doesn't seem to do anything. The little burst of fire, like it strikes the thing, it just goes and it hisses at you, kind of glowing molten metal spittle out of its mouth.
The second one just hits like a plant pot somewhere.
Yeah, you guys are really doing a lot of collateral damage to, the
shit.
furniture. At the very least. At least there's no party goers around here. Adelhard, you are frightened of the ghost. Oh, Sabriel, give me a wisdom save at the end of your turn. Not be afeared.
There are would-bees that keep running into my fucking window. I just hear this don't. There's this big-ass bee just at the window. Apparently.
Oh, I have had that before. Alright, Adelhard, it's your turn. You can still attack, you just have disadvantage.
Okay, can I move away or am I?
You can move away, you can't
here?
move closer. If you move away, you can't come back until you fix the fix.
Yes. Okay. I will use my action to disengage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. I would like to go up here.
Okay.
That's it for my turn.
The ghost is going to... The ghost's gonna do ghost shit. It's gonna start wailing and going through the walls. It's gonna be one of those things where, like, as people started heading off in front of you, Vincent, you're like, oh, okay, but you see you're fighting that, and then you see coming through the walls, even though I might not position it necessarily the place where you see it, you do see, like, looping around the ghost and the trail of like, burning energy behind it, just as it's shrieking and moving, and you kind of see the party goers being like, oh, there's something actually really happening over there now, oh shit. People starting to kind of be more careful. The ghost itself is going to just end up behind Sabriel when it's done doing all that, but it doesn't attack. Vincent.
See me here. Hold on 1 second.
You are at the bottom leftish.
Got it. Okay.
Oh wait, should I roll another wisdom save for the feel? Yeah.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Vincent will try to hold up his hand and blast the thing with a guiding bolt, trying to concentrate on where it's at. Is this a disadvantage or is this normal?
This will be normal. I won't give you, like, the horribly drunk penalty, because you did kind of even out. I'm still going to give you the stone penalty on saves. But it also has an upside, so... Advantage on charisma, disadvantage on wisdom and intelligence saves, so...
Fair enough.
Who knows, maybe it'll save you.
I missed.
The door frame is even more obliterated than it was when... Like, Peep goes and shoots the door frame and, like, a bit kind of, like, starts burning. You go up, move up, and the other side's like... This big shockwave and things knock over in the far room. Like, you knock, like, a tapestry off the wall. Just because of the energy.
This thing is using the door as cover. I don't appreciate it.
We'll get it! We'll get you!
It's going to go up close and it's going to spit fire. Vincent, give me a dexterity save.
Right.
You're going to get spittled on. Because, someone's getting puked on at this party. It's not going to be me. That's going to be 9 fire damage.
Okay.
Oh,
Sabriel, you are scared, and the ghost has, done some spooky business and is back behind you.
I am going to... I don't know. I can't attack it while it's this close to me, can I? I have to run away.
You can attack it in melee. With your sword.
I'm gonna do that.
You have disadvantage
Yeah.
still because you're scared of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine, but I still have my,
Everything, all your
other
other
stuff
bullshit.
up.
Yeah. It's one ghost. How hard can it be? That's a miss.
Too damn hard. I guess I'll make my wisdom save now. Oh wait, what?
Oh wait. Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
Peep.
Going to one, two, three. Oh, hello. Okay. Well, I'll deal with this one first. I'm gonna go for. Where is my two-handed? Right. Since I've been casting, I'm trying to think of this. So I've been casting spells.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have Warcaster.
No.
But since I cast them out of my mouth most of the time,
You
can I
have your
still-
magical implement is on your tail, which allows you to cast
Yeah, okay,
through
so I can-
you. You
Okay,
can stab
so I
your
can
weapon
still
out,
two-hand a weapon and cast. Okay, cool, awesome. Cool. Well, I'll
don't really
go for
worry
two
about that.
swings at the back of this thing. So two-handed, showing, and showing.
Yeah, you get up behind this one, and it's like, and it's kind of almost being like intimidating. And you get up behind it and like strike it, and then lop its head off, and its head spins and lands upside down on the body, which then collapses under its own weight.
All right, who's next? Oh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, the other one right there is going to do the thing where it clashes its blade on its shield. They ain't scared. They ain't scared of nothing. Speaking of not scared of anything, Adelhard in the corner.
Yes,
Nice and
I'm
safe.
going to move one step over here
Okay.
and then cast Ray of Frost at this thing.
It's a hit. You're really good at hitting those. They're always a banger. 10 cold damage, yeah. It's strong, it's powerful, it seems to... It's one of the things where the cold of it seems to almost make the thing recoil and rapidly heat the area back up more. It's going to swipe at Sabriel and completely... you know, now that you're snapped out of it, you can completely dodge out of the way. It is just kind of swiping and clawing, which is relatively easy to dodge if you know what you're doing. Vincent.
I'm going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Can I move there?
Yeah.
So I'll move into the room and just take a look and see if I can see around me, if anything.
Give me a real quick perception check.
Advantage.
There's a real weird smell in this room but that's different to the rest of the place, but you can't work it out. Until you work out right now. Lizard time. My favorite. Just makes me think of like it's some kind of Saturday morning cartoon and I've just been like aged back in time and I've become a wizard. That happened in Star Trek. That's what I'm thinking of. When that happened to people in Star Trek where they just become a lizard. It's in Next Generation in episode. They devolve into lizards. That's what I'm thinking of. It's like lizard time. Alright. It's gonna rush up. It's gonna miss and miss. Yeah, it's one of those things where you like, it's a sword fight. You know? Proper shit. Sabriel, can you give me a dexterity save? This one's gonna spit at you. That wobbled between all the good things and landed on the bad one. That is going to be 11 fire damage. And this one's going to get up over here. It actually ends up getting hidden behind the corpse of a brethren, so let me move that and go up behind you. Alright. Sabras, your turn.
Sabriel is over this fight. Sabriel is going to... Oh. Wait, do I need to make a con save for my concentration? For that?
Yeah, if you've taken damage, yes. That's how it works. Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. So that spell says any attack I make.
Mm-hmm. Within 10 feet, I think, isn't it?
So, Sabriel's done with this. Who's around me? What's around me? I can't see it. This fucking... The lizard behind me is going to become dust, hopefully. Roll 20.
It doesn't instantly die, but it does take a lot of damage.
Well, it gets that cold damage too.
Roll it. It doesn't instantly die, but it takes a lot of damage. It takes it. It lives. Anything else?
Yeah, that's... I can't heal myself right now, so no.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Do I have a potion? I do. I'm gonna take one.
Alright.
D4, what? I don't ever use healing potions.
Regular healing potions are 2d4 plus 4. 2. You can see I've not done D&D for a while if I got that wrong.
2d4 plus what? 2?
That used to be second nature. You know, up to the first 2. No one cares about the ones after the first 2. You don't need those in your brain. Pete.
Alright, swingity swing, let's go. 1 and 2.
First one hits, second one miss. Creature is still alive. Very much so, because I accidentally added an extra decimal to the health. No, I fixed it. There we go.
Imagine if it's like first swing hit, second swing it like blocks and like, what are you, by the way? You're like, are you made of fire?
It just hisses. It just hisses and more mouth sound comes out and like spittle. It does sound like there might be words in the hissing, but it's not in a language that you comprehend.
Not in Draconic or...
No. It's something very different.
Damn.
Alright. Adelhard.
I would like to Ray of Frost this guy.
Which guy? The ghost?
The one behind.
Okay, that is going to be a miss. It blocks it with the shield.
Then that's the end of the turn.
Next is the ghost, which is actually going to disengage and fly through the wall. And phase through the wall in front of Vincent. This.
There's things walking through the walls.
It's doing what?
It's walking through the walls. And I'm gonna try to blast it with a guiding bolt. Just let it have it.
Vincent yelling like it's a freaking spider.
Well, I mean, you know, at a certain level, a ghost is basically a spider.
Oh, that was not supposed to be with advantage or disadvantage rather.
Yeah, go ahead and reroll that. That's way better. Less damage, but it is a hit. And it'll strike. And hit really intensely, because of course it does. Like the ghost starts going out towards you, and then is just hit by a blast of silver and kind of almost knocks into the wall as it seems to almost
25.
splutter like a weak
30.
Bunsen burner flame, you know.
He'll move up to it, and as he's moving, pull his shield from around his back. Does he have a shield on him still?
I think probably, you know, being a martial warrior, you probably did keep your equipment on you.
Okay, so yeah, he'll just pull the shield from as his free interactor, just kind of pull his shield off his back and get in the thing's face with his holy symbol present.
The little fire lizard is going to attack Peep. It's gonna... Peep, what's your armor right now?
13, because I'm not wearing my chainmail.
Still misses. Twice. So you are okay. This one's gonna engage. It's gonna get advantage. It's gonna surround Sabriel. It's gonna hit once for 7 slashing damage. And then twice for 2. And then the one behind is going to join in for 5. And then again for another 5. So that ends up being 19 damage altogether.
I'm at 1 hit point right now.
You are just surrounded by that. They're just striking and hitting and cutting through the decorative garb and hissing and already celebrating.
I'm gonna heal myself.
You don't want to die to little bitch lizards.
$21, so I am at 22 hit points.
Yeah, that's easy math. You can do that one. Anything else you want to do?
No, there's nothing else I can do, really.
You're going to need to do 4 Constitution saves for the spell if you want to keep it up. Because you got hit 4 times.
No.
Yeah, you're just going to drop it.
The probability of
Yeah.
me rolling anything above a 10 at this point is not very great, so...
Okay. Peep, you're in a dire duel with this fiery lizard.
Swing, showing.
Oh.
Boom, baby!
Yeah, I mean, you didn't even need the second attack. You destroy the thing.
I'm coming! Little legs.
Adelard.
I'm going to move down here. And
Do you want to stand on the table, or do you want to go around the table?
Oh yes. No, I would like to. Right here, actually. A ray of frost. This boy.
It's a hit.
That's a hit again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! That rage just not made many
Well, I
times.
mean, you
I'm
got
sorry.
a really shitty rolls out of the way, I guess, and you take the first one. The first one was really good. That is going to be enough to, you know, get this one to cool down into basically a statue like the others.
Okay.
There's still one more.
For some
there.
reason, I clicked once and it registered 3 times.
It's roll 20. These things happen.
Okay, that's my turn.
Vincent versus Ghost. Who will win? Ghost is gonna hit. I need more dice.
That's what you always want to hear the DM say.
Yeah, I'm honest about it. I didn't roll above a 2. So that's gonna be 7 necrotic damage.
Okay.
As it almost saps the heat from your bones, which is where people keep their heat. Vincent.
Vincent's going to draw his sword from his side, and as he does, it starts to light up with energy. And he is going to make 2 strikes with it.
If you kill it, it will definitely be a samurai moment where you can like resheath it before anything happens.
And I am going to smite it as well.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll the smite, because that's going to be huge, obviously. That first strike doesn't dispel the banshee yet.
Okay, and I will swing it again.
Yeah,
And
this
I
is
will
a
smite it again.
this is definitely a samurai moment. With the second crash of your blade so swiftly, the fiery ghost completely just goes from kind of shrieking to just, it almost sucks it's into the light of your blade, you know, as you completely banish it and return the spirit that was trapped, hopefully, to a more peaceful rest.
So yeah, he'll 2 quick strikes, sheath the blade, and he's moving towards where he's hearing the scuffle. Hopefully he can hear where the scuffle's coming from, where Adelhard is.
Stage right.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Oh, I meant stage right,
is it
outside
stage right down here?
in the hallway, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was
You
here,
would be able to
so,
hear it through the wall, to be fair, but
10,
not much.
15, 20, 25, 30. We'll go there.
Okay. This little lizard went to market. And is going to stab Sabriel when it comes home. It is going to fail both times, and is going to briefly look around, and is going to drop the sword and try and run. It doesn't have a disengage available, so it's going to just start moving. You can't get an opportunity attack on it.
God damn it.
Alright. Sabriel, it's your turn next. The little thing got away from you.
What? There it is, okay. Sabriel's over this.
You've been over it for a while, but you haven't been able to hit
He
yet.
has
Oh!
Oh,
been. Now he's really
Wow.
over it.
Wow!
As the little lizard runs away, you can step around the
Vaporizes
corner, summon the bow of light. It's running. It's just heated, atomized gas. Just as kind of particulate in the air. It splatters Vincent, but it's not like even gore. It's just like embers at this point.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Yeah. It's like that, but if someone sneezed at the same time, also it was orange.
That was like a real Dr. Manhattan moment.
That's what I
Yeah.
imagine. It's that. It's not even as meaty because it just vaporizes all the meat instantly.
Yeah, Sabriel's finished with this fight now.
All right. Well, I'm finished with this segment of the show. We're gonna take a break. Be back in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
hello. We found poetry in the
Yep.
trash.
I apologize.
You missed the combat. The thing the barbarians are here for. So, it is the aftermath of this combat. There are bodies. There are the fiery lizards. Multiple of them are just kind of cooled in place because they ran so hot. They were glowing with heat. When Adelhard cooled them down so much, and Sabriel, they just froze and they're starting to crumble. And there's equipment and stuff on the ground. There's a little bit of time of just the lot of you. If you want to do anything.
Does Sabriel look particularly injured still?
Not great.
I mean, he's
Not bad.
about if on a scale of 1 to
All of you look pretty much
10,
as
he's at
injured
a
as each
5.
other than Peep. Peep's fine.
Peep is God's favorite.
Peep's, yeah. It's the opposite of Benny in Atlas that I say is God's little mistake. You are God's little favorite. Other than that, like identical.
Gabriel's favorite.
Can I assist you with those?
If you wish. Though it looks like you're just as
Yeah, well, we'll get to me in a minute. Without overhealing, is 10 enough, or do you need more than that?
10 would be fine to help patch up.
Yeah, 10's fine.
Okay.
I can recover the rest.
And then he'll approach Adelhard as well. And you?
I got a little scratched. He looks at the bits of his outfit that have gone cut.
If you don't mind, I can heal some of that for you.
I guess not.
And it will require me to touch you. Is that okay?
He nods.
And I'll reach out and touch Adelhard on the shoulder and heal him for 10 as well.
Thank you.
And then I will heal myself with the final 10.
Nice.
Peep's just tapping on one of like the solidified bodies.
Oh, it's gonna crumble into basically like flesh-smelling dust. You know when like you've got like a textured mouse bit and you've left your hand on it too long and it just gets all the skin crumblies? It's that. Skin crumblies.
Oh. That's really weird. Okay, so they were fire. Oh. Anyone know what these things were?
Adelhard wants to have a closer look at these creatures, like perhaps from what they were wearing or.
They weren't really wearing
doing.
anything.
Well,
but
they
you
had
could give me.
weapons.
They had equipment. If you want to go by like the style of the equipment, it would be a history check. One or two of them had like a bandolier or something, or like a occasional like shoulder pad or knee pad, but other than that, they were
And
naked.
that's one of the things I wanted to do is I give you the history.
Yeah, well, the style of construction on the weaponry is consistent with certain giant ruins around your homeland. The kind where the giants don't usually live anymore. Not so much areas where there would still be frost giants or hill giants or anything like that. They wouldn't really build things like this. But you've seen, like brought back and put in a museum, like a big giant's weapons folded out of one giant piece of steel. But these are smaller, It could be possible that they were made by giants for a smaller race, and these guys either are using that equipment or it was made for them.
And then I wanted to do another thing. I wanted to just see what Adelhard can gain from the rune or from the urn. How do you say it in English? Urn. From the urn and what's left of it.
Sure.
Can I make an Arcana check?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a specialist kind of ghost-containing device. You know, that one of the useful things about ghosts is they're very easy to store because they're already spirits. You know, so there are a lot of people that kind of can store ghosts and elementals are very easy to store in crystals or equipment like this. This isn't crystal, this is all steel work. It does have giant runes inscribed on the inside. The ghost itself was probably a servant or slave or something, or just someone they killed. It wasn't a giant or one of these lizards. It appeared elven or human or something, you know, that kind of realm of humanoid. Similar to a banshee, but not necessarily a banshee. It was probably fiery because of the way the person was killed to create this. This was a deliberate. Someone was killed to make this ghost to be a weapon to unleash. Not necessarily deliberately made to unleash here, but this is, you know, almost like a bomb. It was going to be planted here by these guys to be unleashed, and probably if they could have got away with it, these guys would have slunk away without being noticed. It looks like they got in without being noticed.
Yeah.
It's while you're poking around at these things that so the air shifts around as the tiefling that Sabriel briefly talked to will actually blink into the area. Blinking, it literally displaces the air, and so you feel that and you hear that. It makes a very particular sound, and the air is also then filled with rose petals and twisting fey magic for a few moments as that happens. Very much like the, you know, a Houdini splicer from Bioshock, which kind of leaves like an effect in the air. And she will kind of be looking around. She doesn't blink directly next to anyone so that your like combat senses spark up, but it is clear that she is, you know, maybe ready to cast another spell if necessary. There are a few vines twisting around fingertips and things. And seconds after, there is a clatter in the hallway outside as the leader woman, the elf with the prosthetic dryad legs, lands onto one of the gangways above. And it makes like a kind of metal and wood creaking sound, and then she will drop down and look into the area as they oversee the scene as well.
So Eberhard is currently just busier looking at these things and probably also writing down what he's observing, what he knows.
Okay.
So he's probably not entirely noticing.
Sabriel was gonna go get Tiefling Woman anyway. So this is fine. He was just gonna go get one of them because obviously this probably should not have been happening.
Yeah.
He's just gonna turn and look at them. Just like, so we discovered this.
Where's Snow in all this?
Good question. Where is Snow?
Wait, so is this scene where they all are is outside?
It's inside. It's in the offices of the forge. It's like off to the side.
Can I just can Snow just charge in with like a keg on his shoulder?
With like a what?
A keg.
Oh, sure. Like
the same one that he spilled everywhere. It's the same one he spilled everywhere. He's not spilling a new one. When he comes in, he's like, "Ah, what's going on?" Oh.
There's bodies of dust. Yeah.
That's a good idea, mate. Let me get some of that.
Yeah. So we'll pass the. There's only a little bit left because he spilled most of it.
Did you bring mugs?
Last time. No.
Vince will just hoist it up and just drink out of it.
Yeah. The old man strength. Yeah, this is happening. The tiefling lady like looks over and it's like, yeah, a lot of Vascursed have eyes, and Elvaxians as well have eyes, which are the two races of quote unquote tieflings, where it's just color, but you can kind of see where they're looking. It is different, you know. It's just if you were one, you would know how people are looking at you because you're more used to it. But you can see like these pools of gold just look like over at this scene through the doorway, and she's not unamused, you know. She has a very sharp smile, very soft face, but very sharp smile at that. And then we'll look back to kind of Sabriel and by extension Adelhard, who is in the room. What were they doing?
Unleashing a banshee of some sort, ghost. He points to the urn.
Wait.
This all seems giant related, and it looks like that ghost was killed to be quite fiery, like they were.
Can I read?
Emphasis on were.
Mm-hmm.
You said it was in giant on the pot, right?
Yeah.
I can read giant. What does it say?
It's a magic inscription. It doesn't say anything, but you can give me a history check.
Well, what I meant by what does it do with the
Yeah.
wording
It's what Adelhard says. You know, it checks out with what Adelhard says. Yeah, it's a magic inscription in giant carved into the inside of the urn. It would help trap a spirit.
So, the little lizard things release the ghost thing?
Yes,
Yes.
that is exactly what they did. We are lucky we caught them here before the pot itself could get out.
That
Wait,
does seem a
what
bit...
ghost thing? I was looking around confused.
Yeah, there was like a ghost that was going through the walls and stuff, and then Vincent just...
windows?
Yeah, I just couldn't do it.
I sent it to rest.
Where's the body? I'm an expert on ghosts.
Nobody was walking through walls.
Where does Snow even get that one? Where does that one even come from?
Oh, part of the masquerade, baby. Shrunk was a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
Shronk's movie was very different to Shrek. It was more of like a film noir
He
sort of
pulls out
thing.
the... he
Shrunk
pulls out
sounds
the
like he
detective
came
hat.
off a BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yeah,
It was like Scooby-Doo meets Columbo. That's what
yeah,
it
that's
was.
exactly what Shronk is.
Yeah.
And, you know, Snow's just very in character.
Yeah, and then these, well, don't touch them, they kind of all crumble. They were like the salamandery, snaky fire people. They spat. They were saying something, but I don't know what.
Seems as if somebody was aiming to cause a problem.
Sabrel's gonna look at the elf woman and be like, so what we came here to talk about, correct?
Yeah, she will nod and cross her arms. I mean, it is to be expected that someone would attack during a masquerade ball to celebrate our success. That's just what happens, isn't it? And this doesn't seem like it's a hit ordered from my family to get at me and my partner here. So, yes, it probably is a greater issue. What do you know about this threat, then? Was this what you were expecting to see?
Sabriel just pieced some shit together.
Sabriel peed?
No, he's
Canon?
piecing things together though, via Ori piecing things together. He will explain that the issue with the dark elves and the information we got on that possible attack, right? But also, Sabriel's thinking that this is fire elementals, in a way, unleashing a fire spirit, and we haven't recovered the firestone thing yet. So Sabriel's gonna explain that whole shtick briefly, paraphrasing.
briefly.
He's going to give like a cliff notes.
Yeah. I will say, canonically, Lariath, which is the elf's name, Lariath Aghast, is Slav squatting during this. Like her hands just kind of resting on the bark of the dryad legs.
Can I wife her? Not
she's already
Sabriel, me.
wifed. Well, not wifed, to be fair. The other woman is
Want to
called
wife her.
is called Lady Embrace. Her name is Embrace. It's the old Vascursed virtue name thing. And they'll listen. And it really comes down to well, then what next? You stopped them running away, which means whoever sent them probably doesn't know the attack went on. It's connected to fire. We're in a forest. If they wanted to mess with us, they'd just burn it down.
What if we
Then Halder pauses for a moment and ponders. Is that perhaps why the Briar things attacked?
We could complete the ruse and create sort of a controlled burn. It might draw out some information.
Now that might be a very smart idea. That will probably make whoever sent these little things come waltzing in as if they have the biggest dick in the universe. Which is usually a good way to strike someone with their pants down. I'm running with that metaphor. I think it works here.
I'm on board.
Sabriel's just gonna.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wine.
So, what can we set on fire and where that's going to do the least amount of damage?
Probably don't even need the fire. Probably just need smoke. And we can make smoke.
This is a
we do
fault
have
after all.
smoke.
I mean, I could take you to a whole closet full of smoke right now.
Sabriel's legit doing this.
It's a real high concept plan. we got going on
Adelhard
here.
is confused and out of place. Visibly so.
If we can weed out who's done this.
We may make them green with envy with our plan.
This has a
It's really
fight.
budding.
How many more of these are there? There can't be that many. Alright, I'll
One
move.
more. They don't know. They
There's
don't know
gotta-
their earn is
there-
cashed.
There's others. It does come up. We got an hour left in the show. I'm sure you can come up with more. Embrace will just kind of. No, I mean we can make the place smell like a whole bunch of smoke. Send smoke up into the air, and that will probably lure whoever into thinking their attack was successful. And then, well, you lot seem capable. I've seen less capable adventurers try to help situations before.
Yeah, we didn't even have the big guy this last time.
Probably gonna help. Maybe me and Lariath stay high and we can aim you wherever someone shows up. There's a lot of places to hide around this forest.
I have a Pegasus. I can get up high as well and be a distraction or act as if I'm looking for source of the fire or whatever. Sabriel's a lot more wordy, eloquent right now than Ori is. Ori's brain is hurting.
Lariath is just gonna clap her hands together and point at Sarah and be like, "See, he has a Pegasus. He just has a Pegasus. Just has one."
I've asked over and over and over again who he is, and I have yet to get a straight answer.
I have told you who I am.
See?
Well,
am
It's a
sun
whole
elf.
thing.
He's
I
dressed
am a
as the
sun
sun
elf.
god.
I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
dragon, so.
Did your
say
son
that he
just say
hates
that he
elves?
hates elves in front of you?
That's
Emotional damage.
hilarious.
We've talked before how that
Just like
kid
the
is
voice he
a
starts
dwarf a dwarf appreciator.
Where you
He
split that chair
does.
around. You
I
saw
hate
Dark
elves.
Souls
You're
on fire.
adopted.
Out of this house!
Dark Souls boss music.
Oh,
starts
that is,
playing.
yeah. And health bar.
Thorin is his boy. He likes to frequently remind me.
Well then, I suppose we let Mr. Sun God ride up on his Pegasus. We make a whole bunch of smoke. We can aim the rest of you wherever this problem suffices.
Sounds like a plan.
She is going to move past you and like over to where a bunch of party people are just eavesdropping and just kind of shh, shh. Got things to do. Keep drinking and dancing and fucking.
Did Astrid
know.
literally say that?
Yeah.
I guess Sabriel's gonna call for the boy.
Yeah, you can get by the way, the dice keeps landing on Quill's face today, and I keep forgetting to get rid of it. But for like at least 10% of the stream, I've just had Quill's face covered by a dice.
God, you're right.
This stream is not doing well for Quill. I don't know what it is against her today.
It's just how it rolls.
Hey! Despite what it may seem, puns are not illegal on this channel. Okay, what do the rest of you want to do? You can go outside and summon the Pegasus and get up and ride.
I will also go outside and summon Pearl as well.
Do you want to be outside the walls or in the courtyard?
I'll summon Pearl in the courtyard, and I'm going to start looking for advantageous positions to set up an ambush.
Okay. What about the other three of you?
I can be the little fire starter.
Oh, right,
Match
yeah.
to which-
There will be one of the big dryads, again, kind of orangish skin, very smiley. They have like kind of a permanent, subtle smile. It's not quite a Joker grin. It's like if the Joker was on Xanax. But they will just kind of get together, kindling and things that just bring up a lot of smoke, but not a lot of fire, and kind of bring them together. And this should be quite the show.
Oh yeah, let's do this. And just whenever the go signal's given, I'll just a little, yeah.
And smoke can rise out of the fort into the night sky, occluding the moon, which is full in the sky. It's actually a full moon today. Can Vincent and Sabriel give me perception checks with advantage? You both could get little advantage points without problem, I think.
God damn it. 17.
Vincent, you don't really see anything. It's dark. It's night. That's an issue. And of course, your dark vision cyber doesn't really help you in the sky either. But there is a full moon, which helps. And it helps a lot more from above, you know, the light of a full moon, where you could see a large area. The forest and the trees do really shroud a lot of avenues from sight. Embrace was right. There are a lot of good places to hide if you wanted to. But the threat doesn't seem to come from the trees. What you notice is maybe 200 feet or so away from the back of the fortress, not where the gate is, a patch of ground that starts to the plant life just starts to wither, and then the ground just starts to glow as if being heated up from below.
Sabriel, well, I have one spell slot left for this, so I guess I'm gonna make it count. I lied. I have no spell slot available for that spell because I healed myself. Okay.
You can just fly down and tell people. You know where everyone is.
Yeah, he'll go down and tell Tiefling Lady or Elf Lady, whichever one, or they're together.
They would be together near where, Peep is by the fire.
Yeah.
Smoke.
So that's what he's gonna just go down there and let them know where it is.
Okay. You can gather your forces. You can ride around over. The whole area is perceivable. There is a gloom, but the moonlight gives a lot. Even if the smoke does, it's almost like you have a cloud leaving the fortress. As you get within sight around the fortress, you see what is making this glowing area of earth. There are two large creatures pushing shields. Shields have areas that are red hot, and they are coming from underground, pushing the ground out. It looks like they've made this big tunnel. These big shields are as big as the creatures are. These big blocky things that are very beautifully designed, but all like out of steel and obsidian. The creatures behind are giants? ? They are shorter than the other giants you've seen. They kind of have a build very similar to that of a dwarf. They're very square, they're very bulky. They do have very big beards as well, usually bald on the head, and these big, very well braided beards. It looks like the whole creature is made kind of charred and blackened stone, almost. They almost look like they're made of the material that lizards look like when they had died, but a lot more deliberate, and they're pushing through the ground, and they've gone through the ground by the time you all gather. Behind them, seemingly appearing out of nowhere, is an actual fire giant. Much taller. Almost twice the height. Fire giants having this kind of almost bluish, like blue steel skin, segmented armor, and is just kind of watching. Has this beard of fiery red as well. He's not got any kind of weapons out. The arms and armor have a degree of filigree and almost rank to them. And this is the site you guys are gonna show up on. We can start a combat. I don't know if we'll have time to necessarily finish it, but we can start a combat.
Snow wants to try to talk to them first.
Well, I'm gonna put you on the battle map regardless. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because, of course, you're also far away.
Yeah. And this is how far outside the fort?
You'll be able to see in a second.
Okay.
Whoop, that's way too much zoom. I can make it more visible, actually. That ended up way darker than I wanted it to be. I want a little bit of gloom.
I'll put it in as one of his number boxes. Sabriel's gonna be up 50 feet.
Sure. So that is around the entrance to their hole is around 180 feet from the gates, and this is basically just field of mostly wild plant life. There is a more cliffed area to the top here. Go ahead and roll initiative. You can totally try and talk to them, Snow. You will have to get closer.
Yeah.
but that'll be fine.
Quite the range of initiatives we have.
You guys aren't very good at initiative. Just in general, as a group, you're not very good at that.
No.
God damn it, I can't remember the name of one of these monsters. That's an issue to have.
The is it one from the monster manual?
No.
Okay.
I named it.
That's even worse.
I know. So I know exactly what it is and how it is. I don't necessarily need to get its stats up, but I need to remember the name.
That's funny.
It's not here. It's not organized in the way it should be. That's all I'll say. There it is. Okay. And these tokens I have for the kind of dwarf-like giants are not indicative, by the way. It was similar, but they really do look like, you know, a very old dwarf-like thing. It's almost like a dwarf giant hybrid, but not even that. It just has enough distinct similarities that it would be kind of the thing a lot of you, I think, would assume right away. Okay. Okay. First up is the giants that are going to just start a very deliberate march forward with the shields.
Oh, my thing didn't register for the turn order.
You gotta do it right.
Hello?
You gotta click on your token before you do it, otherwise it won't do it.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah, I think.
Roll
If you do
20
it-
is an art unto itself.
Yeah, if you click on it and do it now, then
Yeah,
it can
it's
be
fine.
like edited.
Yeah, I know. I do it every week because someone messes it up every week.
Sorry.
The giants with the shields are going to march forward. It's a slow, plodding, deliberate march that shakes the ground a little bit and leaves burning, scorched ground at their feet. And where they do, they have the shields a little bit above the ground, but occasionally they kind of like just lower it a little bit, and that leaves like a scraped mark as well. And it really looks like their plan is just to keep marching until they burn the wall of the fortress, you know, and melt through it. Snow.
Yeah. So, I think Snow is just gonna run up. And I guess I would, we would have had time to put armor on, right? When we were preparing the search. Okay.
Unless you don't want to.
Cool. No, we're the armor.
Can we have used hit dice during this preparation?
You
period
didn't have a
as well?
short rest, no. You just went
Okay,
right
so
to
just
this.
armor.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will run at them, and I have luckily a good bit of movement. But let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's my normal movement, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Snow is just gonna dash up, basically trying to get in front of them, and he'll call out in giant and be like, "Whoa there! No need to fight."
The giants with the shields will definitely look at you, but you know, they're still plodding forward very deliberately, as if marching to the beat of an unheard drum.
Okay.
Zebra.
Snow will just pull out his battle axe then, and that's it.
Gabrielle is going to move right there. And what is the range?
Bear in mind you're 50 feet up.
Yep. 120 feet. How tall is this giant?
18 foot.
So I can still hit it. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I get that it's red? Like it's. Can it hear snow?
Oh yeah, so the two giants with the shields, the one that's closer did kind of like look. They almost have no neck, but it did kind of look in his direction. The giant that's just standing there, it kind of had like the look of when a kid like asked an actually valid question. You're like, you know, but you're an uncle. You're not the dad. You're the uncle. That's the expression that giant has on their face.
The dismissive, but I don't care kind of.
Dismissive, mildly interested, like, oh, okay, that's impressive that you kind of can do. You thought like that maybe a little bit.
Okay, that's all I needed. That's fine. Oh shit! Hold on.
No, you had advantage. You're above it.
Oh.
Yeah, you can fire a bolt right at this guy, and he doesn't seem to react as it goes towards him because you're far enough away that there's a travel time basically. It goes through him and crashes into the ground behind him, like over here, like you would have hit him in the head.
So it goes through him like he's not tangible.
Yeah. And there is like a noticeable flicker.
Got it. Do I still have a free action?
Yeah. Always have a free action. You can scream for free.
This is an illusion per Sabriel's thought line, right?
I can't tell you how
such.
Sabriel is thinking.
Sabriel can reasonably assume that this is an illusion and we've been had.
What are you going to say? You've been hacked.
My eyeballs.
Sabriel's going to look back to the rest of them, and in particular the two ladies as well, and be like, it's an illusion.
Yeah, our Lady Embrace and
they're not on the map.
Lariat.
No, you're not getting
on the wall
NPCs
or
on the map
something?
until I am heavily medicated and cured of my disease. That's not happening again for a long time. I can't do that.
Sabriel's just like, I figured they're there. We're just not having them help.
Yeah. They probably are on a semi-hidden part of the walls, because this fortress doesn't have like walls where you stand and you shoot arrows down. No, it's like got like roofs and terraces and things, but they're probably somewhere where they can see and hear this. Okay. Adelhard is next. Sabriel says it's all an illusion.
Yeah. Oh, what's... Okay,
Would everyone else have seen my bolt go through though?
Yeah. You know, if they're not focusing on something else.
Well, if it's an illusion, what are we supposed to do? Is the question. He's going to move forward.
You can skip your turn if you want.
Yep.
You can if you want. Just
can I
move
have
forward
a perception to heal whatever else is going on?
Yeah.
Okay. Just if any commotion is happening in the distance. Perception. Oh.
You hear a quiet forest. You hear the melting, dripping of magma from where they've heated up the stone to travel through. You smell the scorching of fire on the ground from where these guys have been just walking through plant life and burning it. Pete.
Yeah, that's It's my turn.
Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, okay, I heard several say the giant's an illusion and saw him flicker. But I'm not sure these guys are. I'm gonna fire an Eldritch Blast 1 at each of them.
Excuse me.
Hmm?
You're just in range. Okay.
Just in range.
Molly's
You
like,
know, I
"Hold
gotta
up."
check. There's a
Yeah, no,
reason
it's
why
fair,
you
it's
guys
totally
have
fair.
bigger maps now. There's two reasons.
no, It's totally fair. Totally fair.
The other one is
Top
because I
one?
can run.
Well, there's three reasons.
I can run super
Gabrielle can
far.
move 90 feet in one turn without dashing.
The whole team's a reason. So that's the top one.
Yeah, and Vincent Adelhard have to run.
And then the bottom one. 7. That's what it
The
is.
first one, you shoot this blast of fire, and again, there's travel time, especially because you shoot like a glob.
Yeah.
It's like, and it hits the shield because it's got this massive shield that's like 10 foot by 10 foot, probably even more than that, probably like 12, probably 12 tall and 10 foot wide, and it hits the corner, and the fire kind of almost sprinkles around a giant. It kind of like semi-winces because of just it's a bright sight, but it was completely ineffectual because of the massive tower shield that's in front of it.
Yeah. Well, those guys are real.
Good to know.
Vincent, you have Pearl.
Vincent has a shield. Will draw his shield out as part of his interaction and start riding Pearl. Let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, and then take the dash action as well. 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 5, 10, 15, 20, and go there. Oh. And he's going to ride out to meet them.
Right out in front of the encroaching giants. The potentially illusionary giant will he has his hands crossed, but he does do kind of like a slight motion with his hands, and he will call out in giant and be like, "That's impressive! You're kind of like a baby frost giant. You know, I'm gonna need your kind with me. So you should probably help me out and help take care of these elves." And he really does. It booms. Like, even if you don't understand giant, you hear him talking fairly casually, just across the land.
Yeah, Snow just kind of goes like, huh.
Hey! The giants just keep on moving.
That is quite intimidating, not gonna lie.
Yeah. And they're relatively silent too, other than the crackling of fire that they're leaving behind after their footsteps. Snow.
Okay. Yeah. I am going to rage and run at them. So which means I can move even more.
Yeah.
Let's
You
see,
thought he could move
so-
fast beforehand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I get 3 extra from that. I just barely can't make it.
Oh, no. You could throw something.
Yeah, I'll throw one of these giant javelins that I have. I don't remember where we found them, but the ones that are made.
I mean,
for
they were
giants.
given to you by the Lendir.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So.
You were like, "What weapon do you
let's-
use?" And you were like, "Javelins."
At the closer one.
Just manage to get around the shield. You know, you have to put some spin on it. That is
Yeah.
gonna hit.
Okay. Then I don't remember if I can. Can I multi-attack with javelins?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you haven't equipped a weapon, yeah, you can.
Yeah. Well, I have the battle axe out in one hand, so I don't know if I'd still be able to whip out the javelin both of
I'll
them
allow it.
effectively. Okay. And yeah, the same one.
That one's not going to be a hit. You get the first time, the javelin doesn't really pierce in the texture of these creatures' skin, and actually their armor. You know, now that they're closer, you can see this. It's all the same kind of shade of very dark charcoal, but there is like ring mail. It's very thick and chunky, and the javelin, it doesn't quite dent. You think if it was your old javelins, they probably would when it hits the thing. The other one, the javelin kind of clatters against the shield again, doesn't even pierce in. And onto the ground, and then the giant like steps on it and just moves forward, you know, it doesn't care. Sabriel.
Sabriel's unsure of what to do right now. Can I make a perception check to see if there's somewhere where I'm within line of sight that I can see if Big Boy is being projected by someone?
You could just do a perception check to work that out.
Yeah, because Sabriel has a spell right now prepared that can do things very similar to what he's thinking is happening with this giant. So he's like, someone's got to be nearby.
Yeah. Sabriel has encountered things like this before.
He can do this.
There is something floating in the middle of the giant's illusionary body mass, projecting an illusion around it.
Fantastic.
A small construct
Okay.
of some kind that if you were very accurate, you could hit. It's pretty small. It's like a 2-foot sphere, probably.
So if I, just cast my last guiding bolt at it.
If you hit, you would hit.
At level 1. Do I still have advantage or no?
I would say you don't have advantage because you can't really see the thing you're
normal?
shooting at, and so it would neutralize because you have the height advantage.
My last level 1 guiding bolt. Miss. I have a level 2 left, but I don't want to spend it yet.
Yeah.
He's gonna move closer though.
At that point, the whole thing the illusion will noticeably sidestep, and it does, it kind of almost hangs in the air a little bit. It's not a neat illusion made by Fae or elves or anything like that. It's
that's fine.
stank.
He's figured it out now. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right there.
Adelhard, you see all of this.
Mhm.
What's the
Yes,
plan?
I am going to use my action to dash down here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no, not over here, over here.
Yeah.
And that is my turn.
Peep.
Peep is going to move down another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then another pew one each. So top one, then bottom.
Mm-hmm. That's a miss. That's a miss.
Ah!
Just peppering the shields with fire.
Damn it.
Vincent.
Vincent is going to continue his charge into this creature here.
Mhm.
And will, as he's charging with his other hand, draw his long sword and just take a swipe as he's trying to basically ride around the creature and make sure I'm not in. Okay, I'm in normal.
That is a hit. That's getting through the defenses. The blade kind of catches on the creature's skin, but you do significant damage either way because of the charge and the momentum and everything.
I will drop my last spell slot into a Divine Smite on this. And I'm going to use my Channel Divinity and do an Inspiring Smite as I ride in. The blade just starts crackling with energy, and he just swipes it down. He looks over and kind of winks at Snow.
I love Vincent.
Nice.
Vincent's so good.
That's good.
It's another 6 Radiant.
Radiant strikes true. It always does. It makes the giant stagger back. It has to deliberately plant its foot behind it and kind of actually position the shield for defense rather than just... They weren't trying to defend themselves. They just had the shields in front of them, right? They were almost like in a two-man Tetsudo formation. Now that giant is focused on attack.
I will give myself 5 temporary hit points, Snow 5 temporary hit points, and I'll give Pearl the last 3.
Yeah, that's sensible. The illusionary fire giant, kind of looked like he sidestepped when the whole thing did, and then it kind of goes from watching Snow to watching Sabriel, and he's gonna point with both hands at you, and like track you through the air as you're flying. Just seemingly amused. The other giants. First of all, this lower one is just gonna take a sidestep away from Vincent and Pearl, and then just keep on marching forward. And the one that you've already attacked is going to try and attack you. It's a combination of slamming with the shield, and the other hand is just a fist, like just this fist, the size of a pillar, that's holding up a building, just crashing towards you. What's your armor class right now?
18.
Wow, first one is going to hit. It is attacking you, not Pearl. That's going to be near the top of its damage potential. That's going to be 19 bludgeoning damage in one strike.
Alright.
And it's going to make its second attack, which is a miss. That's like, it kind of almost tries to grab at your hair almost, but you can kind of squirm and get Pearl to move in such a way that you don't. And it does let out sounds as it's doing it. It sounds like the spluttering of a tired old dirty fireplace, or a very, very crappy old car, I guess, as well, as it just kind of grinds and groans and moves, and actually there is kind of a cloud of smog that even leaves its mouth as it's actually exerting itself now, and you see kind of cracks of effort forming between joints as it's moving. Snow.
Yeah, Snow is going to run around behind it, which I guess will be here to flank it.
Yeah, as long as you can draw a line between your tokens.
Yeah, and he will. At this point, he with both hands is holding his Planavar battle axe.
I didn't know when the sentence was gonna go.
And I'm gonna reckless attack. So here come 2 swings at it. Yeah, there's one.
Yep, it's a pretty weak attack, but it does hit.
Okay, and then yeah. Oh,
that one doesn't.
Yeah, and so Snow's after getting that wink from Vincent, Snow is like, we got this, Vincent. Reinvigorated, and that's it for him.
Okay, Sabriel, flying high in the sky.
Bruh, yeah. Reading Rainbow.
Yes.
Sabriel's gonna come up to it. He's gonna move down to where he's level with the part that's floating inside the giant, and he's gonna try and stab it.
Sure.
Just a flat roll?
It would be flat roll, yeah, at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the suspense is killing me. That is a hit, and it is damage.
10 damage, because it's just the extra radiant.
Got the extra radiant. Okay. And that is gonna break the illusion. You see this little thing. If the illusion kind of splutters out around it, there is this orb of obsidian with fiery light and tendrils all around it. That it kind of clashes out of where it was floating perfectly, and then the tendrils will really unfurl. Tendrils of flame to defend itself.
How far away is it from me now? Or is it still within melee range?
Yeah, it's still be within melee range. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
Adelhard.
I am going to move one step back again. And I'm going to Ray of Frost this one and hope it hits.
That's a hit.
God damn it!
The second one is a hit, but you only rolled one, so never mind. That is a miss.
So it's the first.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, it's one of those things where it is deliberately aiming, like, readying the shield at you, and it's very... The shield basically covers its entire body from where you're at, so it's quite hard to aim.
Okay.
Peep!
Alright, Peep is going to dash. Pardon me. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you want to get a go at this fortress, you gotta go through me first!
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Boo.
What language do you say that in? Is that in common?
I'll say it in Draconic for extra intimidation, you know?
Yeah.
Peep, the Dragon of Lendir!
Yes! Vincent, you're up next.
Vincent is going to just dismiss Pearl at this point and just kind of send her back to her plane and stand his ground against this creature and bear his shield and just take the dodge action against it. Come at me, bruv. And he's got his sword ready and he's just holding steady against the creature and providing that extra advantage to Snow.
I love the idea of Vincent saying bruv.
Bro, yeah, that's
that does very much enjoy it. I very much enjoy that. The blazing eye construct before you, Sabrinel, really starts to heat up at this point. The energy around it starts to glow enough that, you know, continued exposure will harm you and Zelius. It will attack at you with its lashes. The first one is going to hit.
Oh, my AC 17 again.
Oh yeah, it hits. For 4 fire damage. And then it doesn't make the second one because your AC is high. And it really is, it's, you know, it strikes like, you know, it's like the construct is almost modeled after aberrations and things. You know, it uses the lashes like whips. The coal giant before you is going to attack at Vincent with disadvantage. Your armor right now is 15?
18.
18? Doesn't hit 18. Doesn't hit 18 either time. It's one of those things where it's like kind of crashing and punching. Even one point punches the shield, but it just can't get through your defenses. And the other one is just gonna plod forward. And then it gets up to you. And it's gonna raise the shield. There's gonna be a bit of a smile. And it's gonna whack downwards.
This is gonna be a Pete pancake.
And you dodge!
Oh no!
16.
You dodge the first strike, but you're hit by the second. For 13 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
So no,
Certainly.
you're up next.
So he's just gonna start again trying to hack at this thing to bring it to its knees, but he calls out to Pete first. He's like, just hang in there, Pete.
Don't worry, I got this.
So he's just gonna try to slash this thing with his axe more. Still reckless attacking. In fact, he wants to he's gonna go like to try and get its attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a hit.
And yeah.
Oh! At this point, with the crit, you crunch through the outer layer of skin and armor that flakes off the creature. That was really making it hard for hits to land properly. revealing its skin. It's kind of similar to that of the Borovar or the Planavar. It's still tough, but not as not literally some kind of stone or coal.
Okay.
It's a coal giant.
I was worried it was gonna like explode out fire on me.
No,
but okay,
not yet.
Not yet, at least. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's all he does.
Sabriel.
Sabriel is going to. It's a bonus action for a healing potion. I have one left, and it's a greater healing potion. I'm gonna use that. That's what, 44?
+4.
There we go. We got it that time.
We did it, Reddit.
Oof. Okay. +4 is 13. Okay, so that's my bonus action. That takes me up to full. Okay, so I'm going to stab it. With the intent to try and knock it down to the ground.
That would be a shove action, not a stab.
Oh.
You do that
You want me to
instead if you
reroll?
want. It would be an athletics check. Yeah. Yeah. It is a little orb. It's not that strong. You can kind of... And you probably do smack it with your sword, let's be honest.
The pommel of it just...
I was thinking the end, like whap, but that's way more logical to pommel it. And it's letting out this sound, and it just lets out a bit of almost a squeak, and goes and bumps onto the ground, and then all the tendrils have to kind of unleash again. 10 feet.
So
down.
it's like 10 feet down. Okay.
It's on the ground
On that
now,
note, Zelia, I'm gonna move now, and in that movement, I'm gonna have Sabriel have Zelius just stomp it into the ground just to make sure that it's stuck there.
That's a hit.
Zelius said, "Fuck you."
I mean, I believe it. I genuinely believe it. Zelius would. I mean, it's a ball. And Zelius is like, ooh,
Sabriel's
it's a ball.
like, Zelius, it's a spider. It's a spider.
Zelius is done with this fight, much like Sabriel is.
Both Zelius and Sabriel will take 6 fire damage at the end of their turns. From just the intense radiation.
I'm going to move back a few feet since I only used 10 feet of movement.
Okay.
He's going to move back and up. But that's it. I'm done.
How far away?
I'm trying to grab a hold of them, but it won't let me. He's going to move back up 20 feet and over.
It will attempt an
another
opportunity
50.
attack. But
That's fine. Yeah, he's
But
going to move
miss.
over here and he's up 20 feet.
Okay. Adelhard.
Going to move a little. Right here. Going to try Ray of Frost again.
On which one? The bottom one or the top one?
Yes, this one.
That's a hit.
Okay.
Yeah. It's big
No.
damage. This one hadn't been damaged so far. It's so focused on people that you can just kind of strike it in the back and send a blast of cold kind of
If
immediately
it
turns to ice
does
onto it.
try to
Back.
move next turn, it is slowed by 10 feet.
Okay. It's probably just going to smack people.
You know, in case it tries
Yeah,
to
yeah,
just
I know.
overrule
It's useful to remind me, the DM, but let's be
Alright,
honest with ourselves.
So when it hit Peep, I'm guessing it was more like it tried to hit and then it did like a sweep. So it like
Yeah.
thingy. It's like
Yeah.
yeah. So like Peep probably got knocked back a bit. Peep's gonna like loosen up his shoulders, take a running sprint, jump with his fist out, and I'm gonna cast Arms of Hadar. But instead of it being like tentacles, I want it to be like the silhouette of like a fully formed dragon, like giant claws and all, and just poof, the shield.
It's not too far away from like a magical girl thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna fail. It's gonna take all the damage. Yeah. You made a giant fail. You attempted a strength saving throw spell against a giant. I mean, first of all, the balls on you, and you won. Yeah, it's going to. It has no idea how to react. It's like getting the shield ready for another strike, and then that happens, and it's like.
So now also can't take reactions until its next turn.
So you're gonna fuck off?
I'm gonna use my. Yep, I'm gonna use my bonus action. No, I'm actually not gonna thingy. I'm gonna use my bonus action to cast Fighting Spirit, so I get my 5 temporary hit points, and I'm then gonna action surge and hit it twice with my with my battle axe two-handed.
Peep is all in.
Let's go. Let's
go. Those are all hits.
Is that your plan of our battle axe, the paired one? Let's go. Yep. We're both using them.
Yep.
Yeah, do you it's like you're doing a boss, like this is a boss fight and you got him into like the damage state where you've like completely tricked him because he just can't do anything about it. Like he brings the hand down to try and deflect the strike, but it's a magical blade just cuts through the hand. He's like,
it's like, you know when Dark Souls an enemy goes down, there's just that like in Elden Ring, there's the big orange glowing spot, it's just the
Oh, I didn't know Elden Ring had like Zelda giant glowing eye spots on the bosses.
Oh yeah, they do that now when you when you like stagger them and they go down to one knee, there's got like a big orange spot so you don't miss where the crit point is. And the axe, when it's like one hit you go in, then you swing it back and like uppercut them with the next.
Yeah, of course Poetry's like, oh, that sounds like God Hand.
I put a God Hand gif in the Discord.
Because you have a problem.
Yeah, well I was thinking it sounds like the pummel states in God Hand, you know.
Vincent.
Vincent again is going to like just bring his shield up and kind of put his sword behind it, and then stab the sword in the ground and pull a potion from his belt and drink it, but take the dodge action while he's doing that.
Okay. The orb is gonna kind of raise up off the ground, look around a few times, and then is gonna fuck right off into the hole. And you can see like the light, like a ring of light where it's traveling. This bit. Because that is just a big hole that goes down for a long ways. The Coal Giants. This one is going to take the advice of Snow and attack it. Attack Snow.
It will have advantage.
It will have advantage. It's going to hit.
Okay.
It's going to be 17 bludgeoning damage on the first strike.
Okay.
And 18 on the second.
Okay. Luckily, those get halved.
Those get halved.
It's not like it's just bludgeoning, right?
Just bludgeoning.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely some magic going on the shields, but not like. It's like they don't really know how to aim it. You know, It's almost like he's hitting you with a shovel.
Yeah.
The other one will attack Pete. It doesn't have advantage, but it still hits. It's going to be 14 bludgeoning on the first strike. And it's going to hit the second. And it's going to be another 14.
I'm hurt, but I'm alive.
Snow.
I just realized I had that 5 temp HP, so I'm just going to add 5
Actually,
back.
you know what? It's time. There's a lot more giants to fight.
Okay.
I think we might call it here for the day.
Okay.
We can return to beating up giants next week. As we do, as we are wont to do. I'll put us up back to the main page, and then real quick, you guys could talk about what else you've got going on. While we wrap up, and then we can get back to this next time.
Okay.
Zach, what's going on?
So I got the wonderful opportunity to film a very excellent, what I thought was going to be a one-shot Pathfinder 2 with 5 very, very talented ladies on Twitter, some of my very good friends on Twitter. I am editing that. That is going to get put on YouTube on the 15th of May. And after that event, it went so well that they kind of strong-armed me into running a campaign out of it. So once a month, I'm going to be running a session for them plus another member of Twitter that we're adding to the cast for the ongoing campaign, and it'll be once a month, and I'll be recording those and posting them on YouTube as well.
Nice. How long are the sessions roughly? Obviously they get edited.
So the one shot that we did was just came in just under 4 hours. It was I think 3 hours and 59 minutes and some seconds or something.
I used to do 4-hour sessions back when I was a younger man. No, that's really cool. I am not surprised based on how you've been talking about it that it's going to become a campaign.
Yeah, it went really, really well. We all had instant chemistry. It's a bunch of us from the Deadlands to Crossroads thing that was all over Twitter for a hot minute from Carrie, and in fact Carrie is one of the castmates. So it just turned out really well. Everybody had a great chemistry. Everybody had a great time. We told a great story. And after that, they were like, we should do that like permanently. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, let's do it. So we can squeeze one day a month out of the foreseeable future. So we're going to work on that.
Nice. That's a nice, that's not intimidating to watch either, which is kind of fun. You can watch a session a month. That's easy. Poetry, what's up?
So first, I want to apologize again for showing up late today.
I put some angry face emojis. I was waiting for both of them. I put some angry faces in there.
So me. No, so I have a Sunday game, but it's on a few weeks hiatus as one of the players is moving across Canada. So
that's like a very wide country. Across the widest.
Yeah, so take a couple weeks off for that. It's actually, that campaign's in a good spot though. A few sessions ago they fought a character that Ori did art for. And they didn't kill the character. They ran off because I need to use that art more than once. But anyways, I'll be streaming tonight and tomorrow night on Twitch, just video games. But other than that, that's all I have going on.
All right. AJ.
I do what I always do. I make art and post the progress on Twitter. I am currently working on a bigger Warhammer piece. So if you want to see the progress on that, check out my Twitter. I am also offering commissions, so if anyone needs character designs.
Yeah, AJ is good at character design to the point that, Adelhard basically came out for perfect first try. Like sometimes, actually, this happened with Sabro as well, where it's like, I'll take your ideas, we'll see what works. I'm a professional. I'll have to tweak something. And it's like, it's just right. I don't have to do anything. Great.
So what happens when you get another professional to make their own character?
Yeah, both Adelhard and Sabriel are just like the most you two characters as well. It's like, well, no wonder they come together so naturally. All right. Peep, Quill.
Hello, yeah, I'm the meme shit poster of the
The
group.
meme queen.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the one who makes all the puns. Well, most of the puns as well.
No, Zach is match to you on puns today.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. It was an even match.
You're gonna have to up your game.
Closet doing weed. But yeah, so I just do memes on YouTube. I'm very near, just 229 people away from 50,000 subs.
Yo!
Which is a pretty big milestone. So, if any of you haven't subscribed to me, YouTube voice quills, I make funny memes. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. That's pretty much it. Just check out the memes.
Yeah, do you want to ruin your YouTube algorithm? Go sub to Quills.
I mean, the amount of times where I've had people commenting this video is really funny, but why was it in my recommended?
Yeah. That's the type of content you specialize in, and goddamn, are you good at it?
Hell yeah!
All right, and Ori.
Hello, I'm Ori. I do the arts and the shit post as well, and commissions are open. I only have 2 right now. One of them is very odd, but that's fine. I'm used to it. It's just a Kraken illustration with the Kraken wearing a giant squid as a hat. It's fine. And then, yeah, I got other commissions that are open, so hit me up because I need money to pay for the outstanding on Sophie's surgery. So, yeah.
All right. And me. This show is supported by Patreon. It's down there. Ollie Smith Art on Patreon. That supports this show and whatever my endeavors are at the moment. You get access to the Monday Patreon game that is still going. The Wednesday game is on hiatus at the moment. I've been really enjoying Atlas roleplaying. That's a seasonal thing. So what I'm probably going to do is run another D&D-esque game, might not necessarily be D&D, when that's on the off season. So I'm really enjoying Atlas. Pretty much every day there's an Atlas stream. They're very chill. They're very funny. If you enjoy innuendos, boy, is that a stream for you. And, you know, it also allows me to chill quite a lot, which is quite useful. We should be back next week. We actually, you know, both me and Ori were actually quite sick for a while, and we're starting to get a little bit better, so there should be D&D in the future. So, I'm going to thank the patrons, and we'll see you next time.